Welcome to the Expression 2 series. This is Holy Wiremod. This is going to be the first tutorial in which I'm going to be covering the basics of Expression 2. So let's start by actually getting to the Expression 2 chip. You start Tools right here, default, but you go to Wire, and under Wire Control right here, we have Expression 2. So we'll left click that, and there are two separate functions. When you're looking not at an Expression 2 chip and you left click, it'll paste an Expression 2 chip. If you're not looking away and you right click, it'll open an individual coding menu. Now when you look at the Expression 2 chip and you left click, it'll update the chip with whatever you looked at right clicking away. And if you right click the Expression 2 chip, it's going to open the code related to that Expression 2 chip. So let's go over the basics real quick. We have name, inputs, outputs, persist, and trigger. So name, as obviously stated, determines the name of the chip. I know it's rocket science. We call it chip. You see chip up there, and we'll remove the chip, and take a screenshot. No chip. Now it's called generic, but I like chip better. Now we have a variety of inputs and outputs. There are buttons we can use as inputs. There's thrusters we can use as outputs. There's all kinds of things that we can mess around with, or we can use other Expression 2 chips and link them together and whatnot. So generally you have a bunch of different data types, and I'm going to be going over that in the next video. So let's stay basic here and say a basic variable A, B, and C. Those will be an input, and then we'll have an output, which just as the name suggests is going to be data which is output from the Expression 2 chip. So we're going to have a D right there. Now in the persist section, these are variables which are not going to be either an input or an output. However, they're going to be used by the Expression 2 chip. So we can say like a divisor or something like that. And then we have trigger, which is saying, let's say there's a bunch of code right here, and we want to execute this code. Well, when you have a trigger, you set which variables are going to trigger the execution of all that code. So if you want all these variables, A, B, C, and D, it's input and output only, by the way, you'd put all. And anytime A changes, B changes, C, or D changes, all this code is going to be executed again. Or you can make it specific. Only A changes, thus we're only going to execute the code then. Or when B changes or A changes, then we'll execute the code. So you get the general idea. So you can do pretty much basic math functions and all this stuff by saying, okay, we want some value A, B, and C, or D. We'll say, keep it simple, D is equal to A plus B. Now, what's D, what's A, what's B, and all this stuff? Well, we're going to get a text screen, and I will call it, for now, actually we'll just get a screen, and we'll call it D. Alright, simple enough. And now we're going to get three buttons. They're going to be toggle buttons, and they're going to have values between 1 and 0. So when I press E on it, it's equal 1. When I press E on it again, it's equal to 0. So let's wire it up, button A to button A, B to button B, and C to button C. And the output is going to be D. So we have a function A plus B equals D. So when I put here, 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Alright. We did math, everybody. Congratulations, you learned Expression 2. Not quite, because there's some errors that I need to take care of here. Now, notice how I said the output is equal to the value of two different inputs, or the result, more specifically, is equal to whatever is being done here on this side of the equation. So if I say A plus B equals D, it's going to give me an error. That's because I'm not appropriately assigning everything correctly. The output or the result must be on the left-hand side of the function. So if I want to put A plus B and then get a little crazy and do a little C action right here, then we'll have A, B, and C. And all stuff, and there's no errors, and it works perfect. That's what we want. Now, let's take another function. You remember that persist. I'll show you how that works. So we're going to divide by divisor. And we're going to set divisor, which is a result, equal to 10. So divisor equals 10. Perfect. So it's going to take A, B, and C and divide it by 10. So we have 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and 0. And that's exactly what we want. And that's going to cover the basics of expression 2. You can do a bunch of mathematical operations, which I'll be getting into later in the series. But until then, I'll catch you guys on the next video, which I'll be going over Boolean algebra and some more implementations of expression 2. I'll see you next time.